Hey, what's going on, YouTube fam? So check this out. Today's video is going to be about going backwards. The reason why I'm talking about this video is not just because of the whole Ashanti and Nelly news that they got back together. I really want to talk about this particular topic because I've noticed that, and even in my own life sometimes too, we have this tendency to try to go back or to start to want to go backwards in a sense. Like, let me give you an example. So when things aren't going the way that you want them to go at the present time, or you're not getting what it is that you felt like or that you thought you would get in the time that you thought you would get it, you start to look backwards and you start to want to start looking at how things were in the past, kind of doing like self-reflection, right? And you're going back and you're looking and you start to tell yourself, and you're looking at it in hindsight, like, well, you know what? This wasn't really that bad. Or maybe this wasn't that bad, or maybe I could have overlooked this, or, you start to kind of compare and contrast in a sense. Like you start to say, well, you know what? Compared to where I'm at now, I probably could have just stayed in this situation, or I should have just stayed back there. Don't get me wrong. Self-reflection is a great thing. It's good, but it also can be tricky. So you got to be careful with it, because when you're doing that, you don't want to do that when you're at a place of loneliness or you're at a place of hopelessness where you're just like, you know what? I feel like giving up. This just isn't working for me. And you want to go back to a familiar feeling, almost like how the Israelites were when they were getting ready to go into the promised land, and it wasn't happening and they didn't know. And they were just like, oh man, I want to, make us God so that we can go back to Egypt, because this Moses, because they just simply did not trust. And that's the thing. It's the unknown. And it's almost like being with the devil that versus trying to learn a new devil, because the new devil could be possibly worse than the previous one. But you're not working with the devil. You see what I'm saying? If you're working in light and you're working with your divine, why would you want to focus on a devil or an enemy or an evil or anything negative in the first place, right? So it's important that we keep that in mind when we're doing our self-reflection, right? It's important that we don't self-reflect when we're in this period of desperation, because we simply just don't know. And we want to know, but we can't see the future. We can't see it. We can't see the path that's laid out before us. It's unclear. We don't know. And it requires us to trust in that, to fully trust in our divine, and whatever you call it, it requires us to fully trust in that. And that's something hard for us to do, because we can't really say that we consciously have seen or saw our divine. Like, you can look at this video and see me. You feel him, her, whatever you call it, you feel it. You feel that this divineness is there. You see it moving in your life. You see it working, but you haven't really saw it in the flesh. You can't hold it. You can't touch it, in a sense. It's almost like a golden calf. You just want something that you can say, this is who my divine is, and I can put my trust in this. And it requires you to expand your mind. It requires you to go a little bit deeper and really, truly, you practice what you preach. And that's hard for some of us to do, because we're so taught and trained to focus on the facts, focus on the things that you can actually see, touch, feel, and hear. That's what we are trained to do, your senses, right? Because if not, then it isn't real. You start hearing voices in your head. Oh man, it's schizophrenic. People start to equate that to craziness or something that's off or unorthodox. And That's not something that you want to do. So Holy Spirit, I invite you into this place. I want to get this message out to you all because I know that we are in the holiday seasons. I know that during this time of fall and winter transition, we start to self-reflect and we start to look around and we start to notice that some of us may not have anybody there. Maybe you're in a period of your life where you're transitioning. Maybe you're in a period in your life where you cut everybody off and you're just trying to really work on yourself and you're vulnerable because you see people come together with their family organizations and all of their family things, and you see the ads on TV, you see the holiday movies, and it's a time for family and gatherings and love. And some of us may not have that. Some of you may not have that out there. And you want it. And so you start to look back at the last person that you had that showed you that love. But I want you to remember, and in doing so, remind yourself of why you and that person are no longer together. See, Ashanti and Nelly, they did not just simply, and I don't want to just refer to them, but that's what people are talking about now. But they didn't just break up because Nelly cheated or Ashanti cheated. They broke up because they both realized that they had their own insecurities. They were both unhealthy. And what they did was demonstrated a very healthy response, a very healthy way of ending an unhealthy relationship. I made a post about this on my Facebook page. The link is, and you can follow the link on my website, it'll take you there, but they made that's why they broke up. It wasn't because Ashanti was out there doing what she was doing and he was out there doing what he was doing. It wasn't because he hit her or she hit him. There was domestic violence and things like that. It wasn't because of that. They had a mutual agreement to break up. And they have been doing quite a bit of work on themselves. And that was about 10 years ago. That's like in 2013. See, change doesn't happen overnight. So they actually took the time to really truly work on themselves, and you can see it in their music, you can see it in the things that they're doing, because they're completely different than who they were when they first came out, right? So you can start to see Ashanti singing more in her regular voice. Nelly is doing more things that he wanted to do, so it shows that they have been doing some work. And so what you had were two people that realized that we had something special together, and for whatever reason, we were not in the right headspace, so we ended it. But now we've been both doing some hell to work on each other, on ourselves. So let's see if we can go ahead and give this a try. And we don't know if it's going to work or not. But what we can say is that they're willing to give it a try when they're both feel as if they are in a healthier space, and they've actually given themselves the time to truly operate in their healness and truly operate from a better in a healthier place, in a healthier frame of mind. You have to allow yourself and give yourself some time. I know that this part is hard. I know that you want to go back to where you once was, because that person probably would have called you. You would have had something to do or someone to call on, someone to say, hey, let's go do this, X, Y, and Z. But remember the nights that they kept you there alone. Remember the heartache and the pain that they also inflicted on you too. So while you're doing that self-reflection, it's important to not just look at it with rose-colored glasses. It's important to look at all of the facts and look at the fact of the matter that you all are no longer together. So if this was really truly this great of a person or this great of a situation, then why did you leave it in the first place? And if that's truly the case, then you really need to start assessing what is it that prevented you from keeping this, and what is that you need to work on. And ask yourself this question: do you really feel like you're ready to go back to something that was good that you messed up, only to mess it up again? So I just kind of wanted to talk about that. And I also wanted to talk about not being good enough for people, or people who want to mess around with you in private. but they won't want to bring you out to in public amongst their friends, right? It's amazing how people like certain things, but they hide it because they're afraid of what their friends may think or what their friends may say. And they'll talk to you and they'll be the most loving, kind, sweetest person in private when no one's watching. However, when it's time to acknowledge you in public, they won't mutter a word. In fact, they may look at you crazy. They may be so afraid that you're going to say something that they may try to attack you or shame you or make fun of you, you know, fat shame you or whatever it is that they are afraid that their friends may say. They may even much be a colorist. You may be too light. You may be too dark. You may be the wrong ethnicity. You know, they may be somebody who is a person who say they'll never sleep with somebody white and they sleeping with you, and they this pro-black person, and they could be this pro-white person who would never sleep with a minority, any type of minority, and now they sleeping around with you. And it's amazing how when you start to meet not their qualifications, but their friends and families qualifications who are in our society's qualifications, it's amazing how they want to start to then bring you out. Oh, I can bring you amongst my friends now. Why? Because I'm successful now, because I've lost weight. What is it? Because I made a name for myself. Why all of a sudden now it's okay to bring me amongst everyone now that I've gotten something, or you stand to gain something, or you have something to boast about to your friends, family, or society, now that I've become an acceptable standard? How come you couldn't bring me around when I was before all that? Before I lost weight, before I got in shape, before I got this job, before I got this? Because I'm still the same person. I'm still black, I'm still white, I'm still Hispanic, whatever the case may be, you're still going to be those things that you said prevented you from bringing me amongst your family and friends and society in general in the first place. So you're still going to be those things, but now they can say you are such and such and such and such and such. You have a title, you have this, you have that, you have some type of money, you have this. But what that goes to show you is what that person is led by and where that person's values truly lie. Because let me tell you something, people who are like that are like trees. They're like leaves in the wind. They're flaky. They go wherever the wind will blow. If the wind blows to the north, they're going to the north. If it blows to the east or the west, they're going to the east or to the west. They have no type of standards. They have no roots in the ground. They cannot stand anything. They can't withstand anything. I'm telling you, these type of people are not like trees. These type of people, or they're going to go wherever society goes. Wherever society moves, that's where they're going to move. They're not dictated by their own desires and their own self-will. They don't have it. They're dictated by what someone else says. So if someone that they value comes along and say that you're not good enough for them, then you're going to have problems in your relationship, and this person is going to find a way to break up with you because they simply cannot deal with the pressure of someone whom they value disagreeing with them or disliking something that they're doing because they are people pleasers. They want to please everybody else except for the person who pleases them. Let that set in. You want to please everybody else except for the one person who chooses to please you. Most people who tend to do that don't feel deserving of being pleased. They don't feel deserving of having someone pour into them like they're pouring into other people. They don't feel deserving of it. And most people A lot of people tend to run from things that make them feel uncomfortable. And sometimes loving people and pouring into people can make people feel very, very, very uncomfortable because they're simply not used to it. They're not used to someone actually wanting to be right towards them, wanting to treat them how they should be treated, or how they treat others, most importantly, how they should treat themselves. It's unfamiliar to them, and they don't know. So they lash out. They become angry. They become bitter. Whose fault is it? Whose responsibility is it? Is it yours? What does that look like for you? And make no mistake about it. There is nothing that you can do to change this person. And even if you were to sit there and actually do the work with this person, get this person to change, I can almost, there's no guarantee that they're going to stay with you. Because 9 times out of 10, whom you attracted to when you're broken and you're unhealed, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be the same person whom you're attracted to when you reach that place of healing, when you reach that healthiness and you've gotten that infection taken out of you. You appreciate this person. They appreciate you. They will appreciate you. They'll love you and care about you. But you're not going to be it. So now you done just invested all your time and your energy into this person. You thinking you've made it past the hard part. Now we're on off to blissfulness. Ignorance is blissful. And so now you doing all that pouring and all that fixing. Who's going to fix you? Who's going to help you? Who's going to pour into you like you're pouring into everyone else? Who's going to help fix you like you're fixing everybody else? You fixing all these men and all these women for other people to have, but who's fixing you? Who's fixing themselves so that you can reap the benefits of it, so that you can reap the rewards of your hard work? You sitting there being somebody's punching bag. Why? They aren't even appreciative of it. You're not helping this person out as a friend, where you're just being a friend and uplifting them and things of that nature. You're sharing a bed with this person. You're giving this person your body in ways that you'll never give to a friend or anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that for you all to think about, and I will see you all in the next video. Oh, before I go, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Also, if you want to check out some more of my videos and you see this is a cool, chill, safe place for you, then go ahead and subscribe, right, if you haven't already. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next video. Check out some of my other videos, and until then, peace.